Hey guys, Sugi here from Suggiesspace, and welcome to the first episode of Over a Cold One, where I sit down with some amazing creatives or musicians or artists or any area who are doing amazing, cool work who I admire. Get to sit down with them and just pretty much just have a chat about why they do what they do and what their process is, and just getting to know them in general. The difference is that what I get the guests to do is pick a favorite spot of theirs. We head there, set up our fold out chairs and have a few cold ones. So in this first episode is on with my amazing friend Jordan Ranson, who's an amazing content creator who I've been following for quite a while, and he runs this channel called Motion Bros, where they create a lot of awesome travel and lifestyle content. And he's been all over around the world, been to some amazing places. This guy is awesome. So first thing first, I head over to his. Okay, this is Jordan's workstation right here.
It's the workstation, bro.
Where all the magic happens, eh?
Yeah, it's where my back gets sore.
Picked him up and then we headed to his favourite local bakery. This is Geordie's favourite happy place.
Mate, the best bakery pies in Auckland, I'd say. But you can even see it there, award-winning pies, fresh daily. Superstar, that's not me. I've just got this guy following me around.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know who he is.
How often does he come here every day?
Not really. Only once a year.
So every day. Thank you very much. Cheers. After that we headed to his favourite beach in the North Shore, set up the chairs, got the beers and just got chatting away. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this first episode, and again, welcome to Over a Cold One. All right. Well, hey Geordie.
G'day, man. How you going?
Good. Well, thanks for doing this. I guess.
Mate, thanks for having me.
But I guess in a way, for the last few years though, you've done a lot of crazy stuff involving, content creating. You've been all over Europe.
Yeah.
For Bus About. You went over to Singapore recently as well, and also you went around pretty much the length of New Zealand almost in a camper van.
And we did the Arctic as well.
Yeah, you did the Arctic as well. You went to Norway.
Yeah.
But I guess we're going to talk about all that stuff, but before we get into that though, I want to talk to you about what was the first time you picked up a camera?
First time I picked up a camera was a funny story, and I'm definitely not going to give away my YouTube name. It's the secret, and only 10 people know the name of the YouTube channel. And then every now and again when someone wants to pull blackmail on me, they'll tell people about the YouTube channel. Because that was the first time I picked up a camera, and it was to make shuffling videos.
Shuffling videos?
Melbourne shuffle, man. These feet were moving. So me and my mate Ranson, he was called Reese, I was called Geordie. Yeah. And we would basically make shuffling videos from the age of 14, 15, 16 in our houses, at the mall, in car parks. So yeah, that was pretty much the birth of my filmmaking career. Hardstyle trance music, fat pants, mullet, sort of, that Daniel Carter sort of look that they used to have
at the time.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And I used to make compilation videos as well. So that was my first taste of having quite a few people watch something that I made, because I made 3 compilation videos and they got 10 or 12,000 views or something on YouTube.
Oh wow!
Back when Melbourne Shuffle was a big thing. So that was pretty much that was the first time I started making videos.
So, but what was it about picking up a camera though as well? Was it the story, or you just wanted to shuffle first and then from there that's where you found it?
At the time, I just loved shuffling. I don't know what it was. It was kind of a scene thing at the time. It was pretty fun. I was really into that music. Yeah. And then just being able to creatively show that in a video format was a fun thing to do. It was one thing to shuffle, which is just a funny thing that we're talking about it, because it just comes up, bro, and everyone's just what the hell are you guys doing? I was like, bro, man, we were rocking that back in the day. But yeah, it was one thing to have fun doing that, but it was another thing to capture it and then make something of it, in a video. So that's sort of what got me hooked. And then making the compilation videos was just about sourcing the best people on the internet for shuffling, and then pretty much just putting them into this, kind of like a story. It's a little epic cinematic film thing that I did. So and
then you inserted yourself in there as well?
No, I didn't actually. No, it was just always the people that I thought were the best in the world at shuffling.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's awesome. But, interesting, because to my knowledge, is that you only really started getting into the content creating scene, you know, the last few years. in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
So like,
so-
what were you up to in the gap, or like?
Yeah, so like after uni, I did communications degree. Was looking to get into advertising, and then went for a job or two, didn't get it. Which in hindsight was, I was talking to my mate Tom about this the other day. It was a crazy thing how, at the time, I really wanted to get the job, and then like you know, I look back and that. Not getting that job has just changed my entire life. Like I could have been like an account manager in a big advertising agency, and I probably would have liked doing that too, but I highly doubt I would be doing any of the things I'm doing now. So I didn't get that job. I ended up getting a job in marketing for Mexico, New Zealand, which I still do work for now, funnily enough, but it's content work now. So I was a marketing coordinator there, and then about a year after that I started doing social media for the company. They ended up buying or owning like about 12 different companies, so I was doing social media management for like 12 different brands, which was a great way of like learning about the online mediascape, understanding like what people like to see, what people don't like to see, and all that type of stuff. And then did that for 3 years, and then sort of just like was working closely with photographers and like seeing content and photography and stuff like that, and I just really wanted to give my own take on it. You know, I wanted to try and pick up a camera again and give it a go. So I sort of just ended up buying a camera one day. It was actually a drone. No, I didn't even have a camera. I think it was like one of those shitty Nikon, like just a very entry-level camera. It cost like $350. Taking photos with that. But the first thing I bought was a drone, which was before our Europe trip in 2017. And that was like the first time I flew the drone, and I was standing on the edge of a cliff. I was like, holy shit, like you can create some crazy stuff.
Yeah, you can.
Like seeing yourself on a cliff and like just understanding that you're like a little person, and then like seeing it like on your screen live was just like a revelation for me. And I just got addicted to flying my drone after that.
I get nervous when I fly my drone, eh?
Still get nervous, man. I used to be a cowboy.
Yeah, you gotta be a cowboy.
Fly it, like just nothing matters, and then you kind of realize that it's a little weapon.
Okay, but what was it about, like, as you were working and seeing other photographers and all that, like what was it about that kind of, did it re-spark something from when you were back in high school? Like,
yeah, like I always had the interest in it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was always interested in it.
Like what made you stop in the first place?
Well, I don't know if I didn't like, I just kind of like, you know, the feeling of like trying to get a career came in, and it wasn't something that I thought I was going to chase as a passion. Like I was just looking at advertising or marketing or something like that, and then I just slowly realized, through just feeling kind of like jealous, or not jealousy, that would be the wrong word, but kind of like, oh man, I just want to be behind the camera instead of just repurposing all the photos and videos I receive onto the social media. I'd rather be taking them. And then that was the time that I thought, okay, I want to try and get a camera, like a proper camera, was when I bought the drone, and then away we went.
Was there a particular, say, photo or client that you're working with at the time that like really sparked that? What was the exact moment as well when that happened?
It was. I wouldn't say it was a moment. It was definitely just like an ongoing thing that slowly built up like a wave, and it just started low, and then it just was on my mind, and then it kept going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, and then eventually I was just like, oh man, like I definitely know that I want to try and start making content.
So
but I was very nervous about it. I was super nervous, really worried about what other people would think, especially because I was working with photographers and sometimes videographers at the job. So I was like, you know, I didn't want to kind of like step on their toes, and like I was just kind of self-conscious about the quality of what my work would be like, which I've now learned it's you got to start somewhere. Like it's not going to be a problem, like you just have to do it. But that was definitely the thoughts and feelings at the time, was just like, I don't know, I almost put like a label on it, you know, like you kind of had to be a certain type of person to be like a photographer or a videographer. That's what I thought.
Yeah, interesting you bring that up, because I know that we had a conversation before we started this actually. When I was going through certain titles to name the series, and there was this one particular word that you were quite against.
What was that?
And that was creatives.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to elaborate on that, and wanted to delve into like elaborate on what you were talking about. And I wanted to ask like what's the reasons behind
that sort of like comes from like what I just spoke about now, but like because I was a person who was scared of becoming a creative because I thought that it was like something that was up here. It sort of like made me worry, like it made me anxious and sort of like self-conscious about being that sort of person, like this creative person, like this person who is just, I don't know, I just thought that there was more than just doing your craft and involved in being a creative at the time, back when I was a bit younger. And like, I think a lot of people, like I even get people that talk to us now and they want to talk about like making videos and stuff like that, and they're really keen to do it, but you could just see that they're already like talking down on themselves, you know, like, oh, this is, you know, I know this is bad, or like, this is like something that I don't do it, like I only do it part-time, like it's not like a full-time thing. And it's just like, I feel like people are just, they're kind of scared of that word sometimes, you know, like it's a big, I feel like stereotyping someone into a creative world, or like the word, can sometimes be non-beneficial for people trying to start out and become that.
Okay, and why do you think that is? Like, why was there like a certain experience as well for you that kind of made you get into that mindset as well?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, it was just sort of like an ongoing, it was like a thing that just grew over time, and I just got in my own head about it a lot, just about feeling just like self-conscious and nervous about what people would think about my work. And even like, you know, like people just thinking, you know, oh, here's just another person just trying to take good photos, or trying to travel the world for free, or something like that. And like, now that I'm older, I realize it doesn't matter like what anyone says, it doesn't matter, you just need to do what you want to do. But just for me, I feel like it came from putting creatives on a pedestal. Whereas now I just see everyone as, I think like a video that's raw, edited poorly, and is shot with a potato can sometimes be more beautiful than like a film. You know, it's like just something amazing about it. There's this piece of art that someone made, and that came from a place, and then so they're creative, and that was great, and I thought it was good, but it didn't have to tick all the boxes of like what people would consider like generally creative, you know? So yeah, that's kind of my spin on it.
Oh, cool. Do you think with that mindset as well, is it because people get deeper into that because of the social media and all that?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. And like, you've got now like a mix of like, you know, you've got your traditional creatives, people that work in creative industries and advertising and film, but now you've got like a new type of creative, which is content creators in some way, but influencers, you know, like the big word, influencer. Which I don't particularly like that word, because I feel like you get stereotyped a lot if you become an influencer.
As you were talking about, as we were saying before, right?
Yeah, wouldn't consider like, I guess, it's just one of those words that's just like thrown around a lot. And the scape now is you've got people who are models, you've got people who are athletes, you've got people who are content creators like myself and yourself. So the scope is so wide, but I guess they're all categorized as influencers. So social media plays a big part now. I think first of all for inspiration. So that's a really positive part, you know, like I think people are really inspired by seeing people do crazy stuff on social media. Like obviously Instagram travel has blown up. It's unreal. It's just it's everywhere. You can't miss it, you know. It's literally like what I've built my career on at the moment is an Instagram adventure travel account, which is great. It's an amazing thing. But also I think, you know, like with all the social pressures, anxieties, and mirroring that we get from social media, you know, people like basically comparing themselves to others and stuff like that. You could probably feel like, I feel like some people probably feel pressures out of that for sure. But I think like if you look at it at the right mindset, with the right, looking at it through the right goggles, you would just be inspired by people mostly. That's what I found with travel people. Either inspired by them, or given energy to try and compete with them, or create something that is as good as what they can create. But I guess it depends on your mindset.
And how do you, for you as well, like to not get into not to, you know, fall into the trap of, you know, getting to the point of like you're comparing your work now to other people, and I've got to be this now and that. Like, what's your process? Like, how do you make sure you step out of that when you get into it?
I've been like pretty like historically quite bad at doing like competitive research, and basically like taking like a lot of notice about what other people are doing. Like often you'll talk to me and be like, what YouTubers do you watch and stuff, and I'm just like, I just don't really watch any, bro. And like, and it's kind of like I know it's a bad thing, because like you need to be aware of this environment that you're in, But I've never really felt like, I've only felt sometimes effects that aren't moving me in the right way. I kind of just like focusing on what I'm doing and just trying to keep it as a feeling and keeping that running in the strong direction. And I feel like sometimes for me personally, if I focus too much on what other people are doing and I'm constantly comparing that to my work, it changes my direction of my work from me to other people. But I'd say my work is a combination of people that I like and I've taken notice of, but I've never really been overly active in trying to find other people's work and make mine like that.
So in a way, it's less consuming and more creating.
Yeah, that's it. Less consuming, more creating, but definitely everyone's style, especially in videography, is a culmination of other people's styles, you know? And that's like, you know, since meeting you, my style's changed a little bit. It's become a little bit more raw. I've been less interested in doing like 120 frame slow-mo, super like flat stuff, and I've become to like get a bit loose in my arms, you know, like the suggy step, the suggy stance, where you just sort of just walk into stuff, you know. And when I first met you, I was like, what the hell is this guy doing, man? Like, this is like shaky as fuck. Like, this is just like, I can't work with this. And then I started doing it and I was like, oh, okay. So it like flows into each other and stuff. Like,
well, I'm stoked that worked out for you somehow. Because I had to admit, I was thinking at the time as well, when I gave you all my footage as well, when I was just like, I don't know if he's going to like any of the stuff I got.
No, well,
10 days with you as well. And he'd just be like, it's a waste of time. I don't know why I got this guy.
No, for sure, man. Like, it was like, at the beginning, I will be honest, when I first looked through it, I was like, fuck, I don't know how I'm going to work with this, because it was just so different to the style that I did. But we'd built this Motion Bros thing off like the GH5 footage, which is super crisp, super smooth, slow motion footage that makes stuff look cinematic and amazing. And then but then that trip that we went on, that was a good turn for me, because now I started to get more raw. I still got that other footage in my back pocket if I need it or if I want to use it, but now I've got this new like light of seeing how other things can be as well. So that's it, like prime example. I didn't really go searching for anything like that. We just met each other and then you just rubbed off on me, and maybe I've rubbed off on you in a little way too. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, awesome. Well, speaking of that, well, now you mentioned Motion Bros.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that began.
Motion Bros. So Motion Bros NZ is our Instagram travel account. It's not a travel account. Well, it is a travel account. I'd like to think of it as a lifestyle account.
Cool.
Because for a long time as well, like I couldn't figure out when we should be, like, you kind of feel like you're in a sphere and you're like, oh, when can I go outside of that? Like, people that follow me, they're not going to be interested in seeing what we get up to when we're back home. So that was a big thing. Like, we're like, okay, well, if we're not traveling, like, what do we do? Like, do we still do stories and stuff? Like, are people going to care, or do they just want to see us in crazy locations? Then we kind of got over that and we just realized that we don't need to do that anymore. But anyway, the account was started in 2017 with one of my best mates, Wes. He's living in London at the moment. And we went on a trip with myself and my other good mate, Jason. We went to Europe for the first time. Like I said, I had a drone, and we just started the account. And like, we were like, yeah, this is cool. Like, let's give it a nudge. Like, we just want to try and learn about photography and videography. This would be a great way to do that. See if people are interested. And then obviously still had in the back of our minds, like, we want this to, you know, this could, but like, if we could get this bumping, this would be great. Because I knew that, like, I knew that Instagram was popping, and I knew that you can get free travel around the world, which is like, wow, that just sounds like the best thing ever. Like, that sounds like a great thing to do. So we went on that trip, and then like, I was thinking, like, I was foolish, and I thought that, like, amongst our friends and our personal followings, that we'd be able to get 500 people to follow us before we really posted much. So like, I was so desperate at the start. We were finding content. I went and flew my drone over the Harbour Bridge, which is illegal as hell.
It's on record now.
Yeah, I know. Don't tell anyone about that. But like, I was standing on top of my car on like the second day before we left to go to Europe, 2 days before. Woke up at 6 a.m. And then I was standing on my car, like down in a car park, like flying my drone, like out of service and stuff over the Harbour Bridge, just desperate for content to try and put on our page to then tell people to follow us so that they could see a few pieces before we went live. And then we got people, and then like, bro, we're on the plane, and then we only had like 180 followers or something. And I was ready to give up almost. I was like, bro, like, this has just gone really badly. Like, in hindsight, it was just went as well as it could have gone. But we were just, our expectations were so high, so we were just like, we didn't go as well as we wanted to. And then we pretty much just went to Europe, kept doing what we were doing, flying the drone around, making content, doing stories and stuff like that. And then And then, I don't know, something just flicked, and then we started getting some followers, and then we ended up coming home with like 2,500 or something. So that was a really good campaign. Like the first Europe trip of about 2.5 months, we came home with 2,500 followers, and then from there it was just addictive, like the feeling of creating content and gaining traction and doing something fun and learning every step of the way. And then sort of the rest is just the journey that started after that,
So, in saying that, because you're saying that the traction went really well and all that, like, was that so that was the point where like this could be something?
Yeah.
Say for example, if it went the other way and you didn't get as many, would that have?
Yeah, it would have definitely deterred us for sure. I don't think it would have deterred me personally from trying to do video as a profession, which I now can do as a profession. But definitely with the whole Instagram thing, like it would have made. I mean, it's really hard, and like even now it's like always a battle. It's a struggle. It's like you have to remember that the stats aren't important at all. You know, it's not about how many likes or how many followers you have. It's about the content that you put out, why you're putting it out, and how you feel about that, and how people react to it, and why it's good for them. So, you know, if we'd left Europe with like 400 followers, it would have been pretty hard to like sort of like keep going, because you just feel like it's not working, I guess. But I don't think that's the way. Like it just depends what your why is at the end of the day.
Cool.
You know?
Cool.
Depends what your why is.
And that's very important, with anything you do.
Yeah, really. You know, if your why is to get 100,000 followers, then you know, like it's gonna be first of all, it's gonna be a tough thing to do. Second of all, if you fail, which you probably will, because it's a tough thing to do, like you're gonna be very low on confidence. But if your goal is to become a freelance videographer, and Instagram is a method of increasing or improving your skills, then it doesn't really matter how many followers you have. It just matters how good your content is. Because the better it gets, the more chance you're going to have to get jobs.
Because that's pretty much just a byproduct of what your content is.
So fortunately for me, it was at the beginning, it was like I was worried more about the numbers and stuff. But then as time progressed, I just realized that I was just getting better and better every day, and it was just using it as an excuse and a reason to get better at filming.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then, because obviously it popped off, and you know, you guys continued on and all that.
Yeah, it's going okay.
But so I guess I would lead into I guess it was like the first big Motion Bros trip, or after that, which was the Bus About gig.
Yeah.
So tell me about that in general.
So it was like another one of those fork in the road moments, just like when I didn't get my job at the advertising agency. I had a trip lined up with Mexico, so I'd started doing video stuff and photo stuff, and you know, it was going all right. And then Mexico said, "Hey, like we're going to send you to Mexico in July, and because we're going to go there with the head chef, and we want you to video it." And I was like, "Wow, this is amazing! Like this is the first time that perhaps I'm going to get free travel out of coming up with this idea and starting to grow my skills in this area." And so that was all locked in, and then all of a sudden, this Bus About competition comes up, and it's like, we are sending 4 people to Europe next year, in 2 months for free for a 3-month trip, and we want a videographer, an Instagrammer, like a stories person, and a blogger. And then Wes and I looked at it and we were like, "Man, that looks good, man, we should enter that." But then he was like, "We should enter," and I was like, "Oh bro, I'd love to, but I've just locked in this trip to Mexico." And I was like, "Oh, what do I do? Like, I've locked the trip in, can't go." So then, anyway, I basically said I can't go. And then there was about a week left in the competition for Bus About. And something just dawned on me, bro. I just woke up one day, I was like, you know what? Like, this is stupid. We need to enter this thing. Like, there is nothing to lose. We need to try and enter. So I said to Mexico, I was like, "Hey, like, I want to enter this thing." And they were like, "If you enter, you can't come on the trip. We need to find someone else. So you got to let us know. Like, it's either this or the trip." And I made a decision. I said, "Okay, well, we're just going to enter." And there was 2,500 people that entered that competition.
What was going through your mind at the time?
I was just like, "Oh man, like, bro, it was great," because that was the first moment that I realized that if you want to do anything really well, you need to put everything on the line. Yeah. Which is something that Elon Musk says. And it's a trait that you find within entrepreneurs or people that are extremely successful. Yeah. It's actually called something, but I can't remember what it is. But it's effectively like putting all of your chips in for a deck in poker, and like literally like you don't have any other option than to succeed. And that's what Elon Musk did when he had his final launch for
That's right, for SpaceX.
for SpaceX. You know, he literally he had no money. Like all of his money, bro, he put into this launch, and it was the last, I think it was the fourth one or something. And if it didn't work, they were fucked.
Yeah.
And it worked. So then that was the first moment I was like, you know what? Let's just do it, man. Let's just let's just do it. Let's just put it all in, and then we have to win.
Yeah.
So then I was like, yeah, sweet. Okay, sorry guys, we're gonna do this competition. Chucked it all on black, and then we just made an epic video, man. And then the video went really well. Posted that, people loved it. We got into the top 20. We had to make another video in 24 hours. So they were like, okay, we want you to make another video of where you live in 24 hours. And then, so Wes took the day off work, called in sick. I was contracting at the time. So we did a sunrise to sunset thing, shot the whole thing, made like an 8-minute vlog thing, sent it off to them, and then waited 2.5 weeks, and then we didn't hear anything. And we were like, mate, I think that's it. I think we didn't get it. And then one day they just called us, and then they were like, you guys are going to Europe. And we were just like, oh my God, we're going to Europe.
No particular build up, it was just
Nah, it was actually a funny build up. Like pretty much what happened was they like said, oh, you know, everything's going pretty well, but we were just asking all the contestants for one more round of questions, and they started asking us things like, do you have a SIM card for Europe? And then they asked us, they brought up these bloody artboards, and they had like cities on them, like countries, the outline of countries, and they started asking us, they're like, okay, we want to know what your geography's like. So they lifted a thing up, and then they're like, what country is this? And then we were like, and we got one of them wrong. I think it was like, we thought Germany was France or something. And then we're like, oh no, bro, we're not gonna get it because our geography sucks. And then the last board that they lift up is like, welcome, you're in the ultimate travel squad or something. And we were just like,
oh, that's very cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
So during that trip as well, like obviously you guys had an incredible time. It was 3 months of just constant creating, seeing all these amazing places and stuff.
Yeah.
And you guys were vlogging as well.
Yeah, so Wes got the Instagram role, which meant he needed to take an Instagram photo, like a photo for Instagram every single day.
Yeah.
We were there for 3.5 months, so that was quite a lot. That's a big workload to get a photo every single day. So that was what he was doing. And then I had to make a vlog at every single location we visited. And I think I ended up making like 27 videos or something.
Yeah.
Which was intense, man, because like shooting all day, like feeling like, you know, you need to get all the best moments, trying to come up with a story to tell in the vlog, and then editing was the hard part because like I would just edit on the bus, you know, like on the coach when we were traveling from place to place, and like it taught me how to edit on the road like really well. So it was a great experience, like really challenging at times. The days you just didn't want to work, like you just wanted to go on holiday because you were in an amazing place, but it was more of an experience. You know, people think it's a holiday, it's not a holiday. When you're working, even what we do now when we're traveling, it's not a holiday. It's just an experience, a cool work experience in a place that's not your home. That is often sometimes better than being at your home if you're into that type of thing. So yeah, it was crazy. It was hard, but it was good. Sometimes I got pissed off. Sometimes I was most of the time loving it. And then made heaps of videos, which was good upskill moment.
Because interesting as well, because obviously you're pretty much filming for quite a lot of the time, right?
Yeah.
So how do you balance between that, like filming all these amazing places, but also having some time for yourself to actually take in the scenery, but also
that's the conundrum with this whole thing, isn't it, Sugi? Because it's like, okay, you can look at the world through a camera lens, but there's times where you just want to look at it with your own eyes, and it's very hard once you get deep into the content world of creating stuff from cool places you go. It's very hard to not feel anxious and pressure when you're in a very nice place, because like you're thinking, my job here is to get cool content about this place, and so sometimes you don't get to experience it as well as you would if you didn't have your camera. So for me, like leaving my camera at home is something I do when I just want to like experience something. I just make the decision to leave my camera at home. And sometimes my phone and stuff like that. So then I know like there's no pressure. I'm not gonna, if my drone's in my bag, I'm gonna fly it, you know? So like, you just have to be mindful, really. You just have to be like aware of the fact that you can get over the top with trying to get content at a place. You just need to just keep yourself in check and, you know, sort of like, just be aware of your own well-being.
Was that quite hard to do though, like during that trip?
Yeah, and that was like the problems that we would face. The problems that we would face was like feeling content anxiety, which was like a coin that we termed a term that we coined. A coin that we termed. Sorry, there was a little wasp on my foot. That was a term that we coined because like it's like when you get somewhere. Like prime example of content anxiety is it's sunsets at 7. You're in the car and it's 6:10. And you still have 15 minutes till you get there. Sun's setting rapidly. You know you need to get a photo. You've been driving for 45 minutes or something like that. And you're just like, oh man, like we need to hustle. Like you feel anxious. Like you feel anxious about getting good content before the sun goes down.
Yeah.
So like there's that feeling of content anxiety and it's just like, you can't really get away from it. You just have to hustle and like, it's more of like a fun adrenaline activity.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely had moments where we were just like, oh, whatever, just leave the camera. Like, just can't be bothered with this at the moment. I just want to experience this just as a human rather than as like a content creator.
Yeah. So you just you guys made an effort to be like, okay, no, we're going to leave our cameras.
Well, it was quite hard because when we were there, we were we were there to
working,
make content.
Thing,
so like,
right? Yeah.
And the other thing is we didn't really know like the hard part about it. It's easy when you're here because you know what to expect, but you don't know what's coming around the corner. So like sometimes you always have to have your camera on you because you never know, there could be the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Yeah. Which you do need to capture. So like when you're in that environment, it's just like, you just suck it up. You're just like, I'm here to work and that's what it is, and just get used to it. But I've actually learnt to, I get a thrill out of just shooting stuff anyway. So like I sometimes actually enjoy things more when I'm at one with an environment because I'm shooting it. So I just feel like, really happy and energetic and adrenaline, something like that.
Yeah.
When I'm like out there shooting and I'm like, oh shit, man, we got like 5 minutes to fly this drone. We've got to get this sick shot. Yo, go over there. Fully just jamming it and like sun's coming down, bro. You're doing your last shots and stuff and it's like all happening. And then I kind of like doing that anyway. So sometimes, but then every now and again it's like, fuck that. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Leave the camera on.
Yeah. That just sounds stressful to me though. That you need 5 minutes to get a sunset shot. Screw that.
I know, it is stressful, but bro, it's kind of like, it almost is like an adrenaline activity because like you're just like literally running up a hill, like running up a steep rock face, trying to freaking get this shot. And it's just like, it's cool, you know? And like sometimes a big point we always make is, would we be here unless we wanted to get a cool photo? Which is like, and people go, well, you should just be there because you want to. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, like 95% of people aren't here because they're at home watching TV. But because we shoot content, we're actually at this place. Yeah. And you're there anyway. So like, that's kind of a cool thing. You know? Yeah.
Well, like coming from that as well, because I guess your particular mission was to vlog the whole trip as well, right?
Yeah.
And like, how was the balance between that as well? Not just getting the photos and the content, but like yourself vlogging.
Yeah. So with the vlogging thing, so there were a few different elements to it. So the first element was basically, it was a great tool. It was a great piece of training to stop caring what people think about you. Because in order to vlog, and when you start vlogging, you're out there in the public and there's just like, you might be at like a big church or like in a courtyard and you've got this camera right here in your face and you're just like, like talking to it and you can see out of the peripheral vision that people are looking at you. And you just like, there were so many times where I would stop. I'd literally be talking to the camera. And I'd just stop because I like saw them looking at me for longer than they should. And I was like, I freaked out, man. And I was like, I dropped it. And then I just, I ruined that part of the thing. And like, I'd be stumbling over words because all I was thinking about was everyone looking at me. And then eventually I just like really learned to not care what people thought because I'm out here just doing it. And like, I'm just here doing my job and this is what I'm doing. So that was a great learning thing for me. It was like just learning to not care what other people think. So that was a great thing about vlogging.
And would you say that's a great exercise as well for if people didn't want to care about?
Yeah. I would definitely recommend if you want to try and really sign off on not caring what people think about you, get a camera, put a massive lens on it, and go walk around the mall, just talking to it. And then like...
Until the mall security guard finds you.
See what happens. Because if you can do that and not care, then you probably don't care what people think about you because it's so hard. It just, you see the eyeballs on you. Your eyes just pick them up. And there'd be sometimes I'd be talking to the cameraman and I'd just see him and then I'd just like look at them and they're just looking right at me. I was just like, oh fuck, like just slowly just wivel into nothingness and I was like, oh man, this is bad. So then you just eventually just like, you're like, look, just just focus on what you're doing, deliver what you need to, and then put the camera away, and then everything's good. So yeah, it's definitely like it was a good lesson, a good life lesson about not caring what people think about you. And the other thing is with vlogging is like when most people start vlogging, I believe they're kind of acting. The best people that vlog, I think, are the ones that are themselves on camera. Yeah. It's very, very hard to do though. So like when I started doing it, I was like, oh man, like, you know, you kind of you think about all the things that you think you should be when you're vlogging. So you try and become that. And I was talking to someone who was working on a project. I met this girl in Austria and we were having a yarn and she was like, oh, I'm doing this project and it's about this thing, it's called the front of stage self and the backstage self. Very, very interesting, super relevant to what I was doing at the time. And still, I remember this conversation every single time I feel myself creeping away. And so basically the idea is your front of stage self is your acting self. Sometimes it might be the self that you put on when you're meeting new people, or it might be the self you put on when you're vlogging or you're in front of a camera or something like that. And your backstage self is your true self. It's the person you are when you're around people that you're friends with, like your very close friends or your family. It's really who you are as a person, as a human being. And what she was saying was, you know, now with social media and vlogging and acting and just, I don't know, people just feeling social pressures, people are starting to become their front stage self much more than they are their backstage self, and they're moving away from that and becoming their front stage self. And she was like, I kind of noticed like when I watch your videos that you don't seem like you are when I'm talking to you now. And I was like bummed, man. I was like, oh shit. I was like, what? Like, it doesn't seem like me. And she's like, no, you seem different now. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, wow, that was like a big tap on the shoulder. And I was like, okay. And then that just made me start thinking. I was like, oh shoot, okay. So like, if I'm doing this for 3.5 months, I could start becoming this other person because like, I'm doing it all the time, and it's just like, that's the way your brain works. And so that was a really great conversation to have. And then since that day, I've always just tried to be like really just myself when I'm on the camera or something like that, and that seems to have been working. And just being yourself and all that type of stuff is much more beneficial. So that would be something I would say to people that are doing vlogging or being on front of the camera or even just day-to-day life. Just be wary of becoming that person who you are, that you're trying to be in the spotlight. Make sure that you don't go too far away from yourself. And the people that do the best, and the people like who you should try to be as a normal human being, is just be the same person pretty much all the time. Because then you're just going to be, you're probably going to be happier that way, because you're not lying to yourself, you're not lying to anyone else. So that was a really important thing, and that was like another lesson that I got from that particular experience. So that was great. I was really, really thankful that happened to me.
So it's just, just being, true, just being authentic, right?
But then even saying being authentic, like, what is authentic? Like someone's just like, oh, authentic might be this, or authentic might be that.
Okay.
So like, is it just being you? Like, just be you.
Yeah. Cool.
If it's like what you want to be one day, you start maybe just being that a little bit here and there, but just, just be you, and then people either like it or they don't. Yeah. And then because you practice vlogging in the mall, you're not going to care what they think anyway.
That's a good vlogging 101 term.
Yeah, just go vlogging. But it's like the new like life inspiration thing. Like none of these like bloody like big talkers anymore. It's just like, just go vlogging.
Yeah, just go
learn about yourself.
And sooner or later we're going to see everyone in the mall vlogging with their cameras and stuff. And it's like, what the hell's going on?
But we don't really to be honest, I didn't really love it, man. I didn't love vlogging. That's why I haven't done it since.
Yeah, why is that?
Oh, bro, because of that thing, thing I spoke about. And it's hard, very hard to. I think if I picked it up again now, I'd be myself a lot more. Yeah. But at the time, first time ever doing it, having to do it because that was what my job was. Yeah. I didn't I came away from it like, man, I just don't want to pick my camera up for 4 weeks right now. I just want to put it away. So I didn't do it. So I just stuck to staying behind the camera for a while.
So I guess in a way that's probably you could say that's the effect of if you aren't true to yourself, in a way it has a lasting effect. Afterwards, right?
Well, it's taxing. It's it takes away your energy. It's literally like actors who go and they act all day long and they come home and they got nothing. Yeah. They sit down at the table and they're just done. They're like, that was too much. It's like it takes energy not being yourself. I think when you're acting or you're not being yourself, that is a very energy taxing experience.
It's counterproductive to just being you.
It is. So I was just, by the end of that trip I was quite exhausted because I was like, man, this is intense, and being this person, this acting thing, like it was a lot to do. So then I haven't done that a lot since. But now we talk a lot in our stuff, but it's more just, you know.
Oh shit, that's incredible. But like, well, we're saying all that now, and then because like, obviously that trip was the big turning point for you guys.
Yeah.
You know, recently as well, like from that trip onwards, you've done some incredible stuff. Like you went to Singapore and went over to the Arctic as well, and all that. Like, what kind of from all those learning experiences from that, like what's taking you through all these future projects, these current projects?
Well, it's just kind of been like the cool thing about it is it's a journey for me and for us, for Wes and I as well. Like the whole thing is a journey, and we get better, and like everyone just sees us getting better the whole time, and like our content's becoming more rich. So we've been speaking a lot more, trying to be a bit more of a storytelling, rather than just like travel vlogging, like, you know, just whip transitions and, you know, like all that stuff. So the whole thing's just a building block, and it's just, you just keep rolling down the hill, and then you know, like you pick the haze picking up, the bale's picking up, it's the speed's getting faster, but like you're just learning the whole time, and that's pretty much it. Every single experience is like a new, just a new string to the bow, and it's kind of just like, it just keeps getting better and better, and we're learning more, and we get better and better, and we like slightly change things every now and again, but it's a challenge though as well. Like you're always up against like what you think people are thinking about you and stuff, but I've got a lot better at just not caring, pretty much.
And would you say as well, at this point now, in a way, have you maybe come not necessarily full circle, but almost kind of full circle to the point, to the dude where your 14-year-old self shuffling in front of the camera and all that? Like, would that be?
Yeah, I guess like in a way, I actually admire myself back then. Yeah. Because that's actually a great way to put it, man. Because like in the middle was when I cared most about what people thought. Yeah. At the beginning, I didn't give a fuck. Bro, I was shuffling, man, in a mall car park, thinking it was awesome. Yeah. And I was just like, this is sick. Yeah. Videoing it, making videos about it and stuff. Like, so yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, like back then I didn't care, and then I started caring, and then now I don't really care again, and then I just try and do stuff that I actually want to do. So like, yeah, it's kind of like a big full circle, but maybe it'll go round again, but I just hope I don't get back into that middle part again where it's like really getting really just up against yourself in your own mind about what other people think. That was literally the single most important thing to anything I've ever done today, is just to not like care about what people close to you think, care about what your close friends say, what your family say, and care about being a good human. But like other people's opinions, if they're gonna get you off the trajectory that you want to be on and it's not really hurting anyone, probably just don't really worry about it, unless it's going to be like good feedback that's going to help you. It's just the negative stuff, you know, like the things that people worry about with the negative comments, or half of it's just in your own head anyway, thinking that people are thinking that when really they don't give a fuck what you're doing. So yeah.
And I guess just to wrap it all up as well, everything that last comment you just said, like what would be, say if someone was going through that and they're trying to figure out how to move on from that, what would you say?
Well, one of the things that really helps me is just thinking about how insignificant we are. So like one of the best things that I wanted to, like, it basically, like, it's like a line that I kind of came up with, and it's like, everything matters, nothing matters. Everything matters because it's so amazing that we're here on planet Earth doing all this stuff, and like, what are the chances that we got here and that we're doing this? I'm talking to you here on this beach. Like, that's just incredible, you know, like, and there's like an actual world out there. Yeah. But then at the same time, nothing matters, because at the end of the day, like, we're just gonna die. Yeah. There might be an afterlife, you know, no one really knows. But like, we're really insignificant in the big scheme of things, you know. Like, there is like, if you just see how big the universe is, it just boggles your mind. Nothing really matters. Like, what someone said to you at high school does not matter. Yeah. Like, a meteor could hit us any moment. So like, that sort of mindset, thinking about how insignificant we are, that nothing really matters, but everything matters. It's kind of like a weird sort of way that I've sort of tried to think about stuff.
So would that be something that you remind yourself every day?
No, I need to do more of that.
What would be the tangible?
Yeah, I want to get like a tattoo or something to remind myself of that. Because that's the other thing. Just like, so for me, I find that like I can easily drift from like what I like what we talk about now, I can drift from these ideas really easily.
Yeah.
But if I reminded myself every day, I wouldn't drift from them. Oh, windy, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, reminding. I need to do that more. I don't know how. Maybe that's something I've been trying to work on. Reminding yourself about the things that you think are important. Yeah. Advice to someone who might be struggling from thinking about those things.
Like, well,
Just let it
maybe
go.
little
Man. You just
steps
gotta
there
just let it go.
Just let it go.
Oh yeah, well this is the thing, like with the steps, like
Little steps.
everyone's different though, you know, so
Yeah.
like it's hard to like give you someone like a very, you know, like a rigid outline of what you should do, but like you kind of need to figure it out yourself, and I feel like when you figure it out yourself, like you end up happier in the long run.
Yeah.
But just know that people are probably thinking about things less than you think they are. Like, I feel like everyone kind of like, in a way, kind of puts themselves on a pedestal in the sense that like you think that people are really dissecting everything you do. But really think about that. Do you do that to other people? Like, not really. Like, most of the time you're not really thinking about someone else critically. Like, you don't just go home and think about someone from work like critically and like really just think, oh, this person's an asshole because of this. Well, unless they are. But, you know, like, I just sort of just go with the flow a little bit, relax, find something you love doing, just do it and try not to care what other people think. Like, just do it. Like, what is the worst that can come out of it? Once you're all right with people thinking that you suck, or people, literally just the thought of people caring what you do, once you're all right with that feeling, then nothing, like, you just do it anyway and it feels great. It feels really good.
Yeah. Well, Geordie, hey, it was bloody good to talk to you. And have a
bloody
beer.
good,
Obviously,
mate.
having another beer with you as well.
Yeah, bro. Cheers to that.
Hey, cheers, bro. And I know this is the first one, so we don't know how this is going to turn out. But thanks for doing this anyway.
Oh,
So,
no worries, bro.
Cheers, man.
Well, welcome to my favourite beach, man. It's been like, we've had like all 4 seasons. It's been like raining, and then it got sunny, and then now it's like,
Yeah,
it's a
but
good
cheers,
place.
no,
So you're going to
thanks.
go in the water, or?
If you go, I'll do it.
I can't be. No
But
way.
yeah, cheers, bro.
Cheers, brother.